question. If y'all want to talk about some state politics or...
Oh, I just had a really quick question. I know you have the service of writing your legislator, and you would personally deliver it to.
Yep.
Are you still going to have that for the special session or for the next?
Oh yeah, and that's ongoing. If you go to our website, there's a big button that says "Write Your Legislator." Click on that. You just fill out and write the letter. Hopefully, writing about issues that we care about. But whatever you want to write to them about, your state legislator, state senator, state house, attorney general, governor, whoever you want to send it to. And you don't even have to know the guy's name or the lady's name. You just put your name and address on there, write your letter. We'll then go through, make sure that your state rep really is Todd Hunter or Abel Herrera, whoever it is. We'll address it properly, and then we hand deliver it to their office. Doesn't cost a thing. We send you a note back telling you when we delivered it, so that way you can pester them for a response. At the end of the day, the reason we do this is, a lot of lawmakers, a lot of politicians, they're saying, "Oh, well, just email my office with your concerns." Email, and a lot of us say, "Oh, well, email us because I email my mom all the time." Email is the most ineffective way to communicate to a politician. It's ineffective for a couple of reasons. Number one, think of the emails that you accidentally delete in the course of the day. Then think of the emails you accidentally delete during the course of the day. People don't want to hear from. They can do the same thing. I just hit the delete button. Whatever happened? The second reason is because you don't have the same laws governing email that you have governing paper. Email is something. No one's really quite sure what it is. But paper is sacred in government. In the state of Texas, if a lawmaker or their staff is found to have thrown away a letter without logging it, they can go to jail. It's a state jail felony in Texas. Serious stuff. So paper is important. Now, it doesn't have to be paper with a postage stamp on it. It just has to be a piece of paper delivered to their office. And so that's why we provide this service. So paper is the most important way. The only time an email or a phone call works is if you have the email address or the phone number that makes your politician's BlackBerry jiggle. Then it might be effective. But it's the pieces of paper that matter. Faxes, all that stuff's fine and good because it's ultimately paper. Telephone calls, I don't recommend. 22-year-old interns from UT or little perky interns from George Washington University are the ones answering the phone, and you're lucky if they can conjugate a sentence, let alone take your message properly a lot of times. And it's nice, it's fun to annoy them sometimes, but at the end of the day, the only thing that really counts is the letter you write to them.
So a fax would be...
And a fax is good too.
A fax carries equal weight to a postmarked letter?
Yes. Yeah, and just a piece of paper delivered to their office.
Okay.
That's all it's because it's paper. And the other thing I gotta think about is just the visceral feeling of a stack of letters. On your desk. Think about when you get home and the bill's in the mail. Oh, thanks. I know it gives my wife now pause every time we see that. On the other hand, you open up your computer and you got 45 emails. It's all people selling me Viagra from Canada. So who cares? It's the same way. It's that visceral feeling of knowing, yikes, I got to respond to these. It terrifies them. And so that's what you want to do. You want to terrify them. And then when they write back to you, you thank them. Hey, thanks for the note back. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Oh, no, it's about tax.
I was just agreeing.
Well, I guess that's on a more of a state level. How would we do something in order to start looking at our local government? How our tax dollars are being spent here?
Yeah,
I drive down the street, and there's like 14 guys with shovels scraping the curbs, 3 big trucks, 2 guys sitting in them, driving them, and I just know there's a more efficient way of doing some of this stuff around here, and that's what I'm getting at. How do we start making the people nervous who are pulling the strings for all this stuff?
There's a fella up in North Texas, guy, really nice, wonderful guy. He's about 71, 72 years old, and had lunch with him the other day, and he told me something he started doing, which just tickled me silly. He had, his cell phone has a camera on it. And so when he sees, and he used the very same example you did. He was driving along and he sees all these workers standing around a hole, and that can't be efficient. And if they're AT&T or some private company, who cares? But when they've got city plates and they're city employees, he just snaps a picture, and then he prints out the picture. He mails it to his city council member, or whatever the government is, mails it to him with a letter and says, I saw this. I don't know if this is, I'm not an expert, but it sure does look like waste. Can you explain it? He said it's amazing the phone calls that he's been getting back from the city maintenance folks, from the county sanitation department, from the county commissioner's road crew, that kind of thing, explaining. Oh yeah, well those 5 guys, one of them does this, another one does that. It looks bad, but we've got to have it. Well, okay, that's fine, as long as you know, as long as you understand. And he follows up. He calls buddies who work for different companies and say, hey, when you're doing a construction job, this 72-year-old guy, he's got nothing else to do at the time, apparently. But those are the kind of things that we can do. That again, letting your city council members, your county commissioners know that you're watching. It's why is it that when we're driving, every one of us do it, and if you say you don't, you're a liar. If you're driving along 37 to San Antonio and you got cruise control set at 89, but up ahead you see something that looks like the outline of a DPS cruiser, what do every single one of us do? You're suddenly driving 65 miles per hour like a little old lady, 10 and 2, until you go past that officer, right? Well, it's because you're being watched. Because we know that he might give me a ticket. Then we're past, be back up again. Well, same's true with our politicians. If they think that we're watching, it will inspire better behavior. And it really is that simple. You don't have to be an expert on road construction. You don't have to be an expert in purchasing of toner cartridges or any of that kind of junk. You just have to be willing to say, I was noticing this, and I don't understand it. Could you explain it to me? And you saying, I don't understand this, can you explain it to me? Will terrify any politician and any bureaucrat. Because maybe they can explain it, or maybe they can't. And you are paying the bills. And that's a very effective tool that we should begin trying to use more of.
Have you done any looking into the comprehensive annual financial, CAFR, comprehensive annual financial report?
Of the
They're
of the
supposed
schools?
to be available for just about every public entity.
Yeah, we have started looking at them. They're incredibly complex, and because they get to set the rules about what they're reporting, it's sometimes fairly meaningless.
There's a guy named Walter Burien.
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with
Yes.
him, then you know
Yeah.
where I'm coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of interviews and gone to his website.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're right, they are complex.
They're complex. And we can do the nice thing though is you find a couple guys, Walter, who really get into that stuff.
That's right.
Well, that's great. We don't all have to be experts. So the beauty of a free market is, at Texas A&M University, I studied economics, English, and British literature. I'm about the unemployable person on the planet. Okay? I've got no worthwhile skills whatsoever. All right? But there's somebody who's interested in a guy who understands economic theory and can write. That's how I got hired, my first job, right? So, I couldn't change the oil in my car or make a pair of blue jeans to save my life. Okay, I could probably change it on my car. Car might blow up a week later. But anyway, but there's a guy who's really good at changing on the car. Who the idea of sitting there reading Austrian economics just puts him sound asleep. Okay, well, so he and I have a deal. I do the economics. He changes it on my car. It's a great relationship that we have. That's the free market. In the same way, we need to make sure we have a free market in politics, where not all of you have to become experts in annoying your city council. Just you do. You have to be an expert in annoying the school board, and you have to be an expert in annoying and now you all work together. And you start sharing this information and explaining what the comprehensive financial reports are.